Welcome to Anime Fanjutsu, where we talk all things anime. Hello, everybody. We are back. We have the full crew this time. This is not a bonus episode. This is a real episode. We have Julian, Christian, and Becky today.
Hello.
Hello.
So what have you guys been watching lately that we haven't talked about?
I haven't been watching nothing.
You lie. Me and you watched something together.
Oh, yeah. We watched some of Chainsaw Man, but I already read it.
Yes, I had not read it or watched or anything because, as we've talked about in previous episodes, I was told that it was going to be like really, really inappropriate. And I will say it was inappropriate. I did not let my 9-year-old watch it, but it was not as inappropriate as I thought it was going to be.
We've only watched like 4 episodes, so I think it's going to get more inappropriate.
That is true. I will say that without giving any spoilers to anybody that hasn't watched it, his motivation is kind of pervy and not cool. But you know what? At least he's motivated. At least he's like killing demons. So there's that. And he had a cute little chainsaw demon monster that was really cute that you can get a plushie of. Like, you can get the merch now if you watch it without being a poser. Have you watched it, Julian?
I watched, I want to say the first 5 or 6 episodes when it was first coming out, but I didn't watch past that. I did read up to it. So the original creator did like the first part, which is like a lot of chapters, like 100 or so.
I read part 1, that's it.
Yeah. I read part 1, and I'm reading what's coming out from part 2 so far. I like the book or the manga a lot more than I like the show so far.
I'm liking the anime a lot more because the manga, it might have been because I was in high school, but it was like harder for me to understand, especially because it was all in black and white and things blended together, and the pacing and like reading it, I was reading it really fast. But in the anime, it's like taking more time to explain stuff, or just like taking more time because I'm not reading it so fast, I guess.
I had personally been reading the manga after part 1 came out during the break between part 1 and part 2. I feel like everyone that kind of reads the manga has this experience where they read it and kind of get at least a little hook to it and read it all in one night or like a couple days or whatever, and just don't remember a majority of what happens.
Yeah, I barely remember anything. Like, I'm rewatching it and I'm watching it and I forgot most of the stuff that even happens because like one of the whole episodes was them fighting like the Bat Devil or whatever. Mm-hmm. I forgot that was even a fight.
And it's hard for me, like you said, when they're in black and white, and especially like if some of the characters look alike, I just get really confused.
It's so true with so many of that, of Chainsaw Man specifically, is because half of the characters, or most of the characters really, are just like the most generic looking people with black
all
hair
of ever. The black-haired women.
And the black-haired men.
Yeah, specifically, I didn't know that Kobeni was a character until until she had been there for so long because she blends in with everyone else.
You just thought she was other people you had already seen?
There's 2 other characters that are black-haired women that are like way more important characters, and she's just kind of in the background until like halfway through part 1 when I don't even remember what she does.
I want all manga to be in color. If it was all in color, I would read a lot more of it.
True. There's a character in part 2. He's like a super important character that apparently was in part 1 for like a substantial amount of chapters. I don't remember him because he's just this most generic guy ever with black hair. And apparently he was important in like a couple of the chapters. I swear I've never seen him before.
My favorite so far, and Christian called it that he would be my favorite, is dude with the top knot. What's his name?
Aki, because he's my second favorite, and I know you'd like him because you like all the characters like that are like brooding and strong. I don't even know if he's strong. I just know he uses that fox thing.
He should be strong. The fox thing was really cool. And he's way cooler than the main character because at least
I hate Denji. He's annoying.
At least he's fighting for revenge. And his name is Denji, which is funny.
Denji's such an interesting character. I really hope that the anime and the people who have started watching it will get to like the actual conclusion of part 1 sooner or later, because it is really good as a conclusive like piece. But you're not going to go in being like, this is a good character. This is someone I want to watch continue, his story. And it's not
And
even something I want his story continued past part 1 either. But
relating to that, and also relating to what we were talking about, I just kind of checked like the names of the episodes to see how far season 1 goes. And season 1 goes to like it ends around a fight that I remember being like pretty early on in part 1. So I don't know how much of it that they're going to cover. I don't know exactly like how many seasons they're going to need.
I will say also that Denji's backstory is really, really tragic and sad, and it makes me think of Atsushi and how he should have died in a ditch.
that's another thing. Like Denji's backstory gets expanded on later in a way that does develop his character in a pretty good way. I'm not going to say any like specific details, but I hate like kind of how I feel like probably 11 of the 12 episodes in the Chainsaw Man anime were not like Denji in a good light.
I hate his character, but I hate him, but I can agree that he has I like his character. He's more in depth than a lot of other characters that I dislike.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, for anybody that has not watched it, if you've heard us talk about the rule that we try to follow, it failed the boob joke rule. Totally failed it.
It failed the boob joke rule.
And it's failed it in every episode so far.
But it like actually makes sense with the character. It's not like in Naruto with sexy jutsu for no reason.
Although Naruto ended up being the best anime of all time I've ever seen. So.
Besides that one scene with Power like sitting on the toilet, it's not like fan servicey. It's just weird.
I feel like it's an adequate like compared to a lot of animes. Like I'm watching Assassination Classroom right now, and when it does like anything sexual, I just kind of hate it. With Chainsaw Man, I'm like, I'm supposed to feel bad about this.
At least it makes sense. It's not supposed to be good.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. It's pathetic and sad. And Christian has informed me that you can buy a figurine of Power sitting on a toilet. So
it was on the
for all you creepers out there that want that, it's available.
When the anime came out, they were posting it on the Crunchyroll Instagram, the picture of her on the toilet, and I had forgotten what scene that was from the manga. And we got to that episode, and I'm like, that makes a little more sense. You're still like creepy if you own it, but
and she was dressed, so it wasn't as creepy. Is she dressed in the figurine? Please say yes.
Yeah, I think so. In that one, at least.
In that one, that's the only one I want to know about. So also now next month, speaking of Bungo Stray Dogs that we just mentioned, we have a new season of it coming out.
Somehow already.
Season 5, I know, that's great. Like we just had season 4.
In like March, season 4 came out, and I haven't even finished it yet.
It's so good. It's such a good season. I feel like it really fleshed out a few people. And we have Jujutsu Kaisen season 2.
Finally, my favorite arc is getting animated.
Shibuya is going to be so good.
Shibuya is overrated.
Uh-oh, discuss.
I just thought it was too long. But also, it's similar to Chainsaw Man. I read it all really fast, and it was good. I definitely comprehended it more than I comprehended Chainsaw Man. But I just thought it kind of dragged. It was like a lot of fighting. I like my favorite arc is the Gojo past arc, which I feel like it was shorter, but it definitely went a lot more in depth in like lore and like story character stuff. I really liked it. Shibuya's okay, but it's just a lot of fighting.
I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be a weird comparison. You'll get soon, but not yet, because I know you've started One Piece.
Oh, yeah.
We're almost done with Skypiea.
That's so exciting. You're gonna get to like a good arc soon.
After Foxy arc. Or no, you're talking about Long Ring.
I'm talking about Long Island. The best
really
arc.
I liked what is it? Arlong Park. I like that.
Arlong Park's such a good arc. Like especially for Romance Dawn. But I feel like the Gojo backstory arc is like the Saba Odi of Jujutsu Kaisen.
How?
Only because my main point is that I feel like Shibuya is the Marineford War.
Oh, so it's just like...
It's like a really good precursor arc that's really good at developing characters that comes right before a really big conflict.
That makes sense. Gojo is my favorite, and Geto is like maybe my third favorite. So I really like that arc.
I like Gojo because I like OP characters with white hair. That's kind of my thing. Kakashi, Killua, Gojo, like love me a good white-haired OP character.
I wish y'all were caught up on the manga right now. That's all I can say about
I'm
that.
gonna catch up on it soon, hopefully.
So I can't remember, Julian. Have you watched Bleach?
I have not watched Bleach, but I read all of it.
He read all of it. I'm still on the Soul Society arc, but
So I am watching it, and I had stopped watching it for a while because the Soul Society arc was so long and I needed a break. But I'm watching it again, and we're in the Hueco Mundo.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost to the end of it, I think. And it is so good, like so good, and the music is good.
Bleach was also too much fighting for me.
The fight music, the like Spanish guitar. It's so funny to me that this is Japanese anime and like this whole Hueco Mundo, everything is like Spanish. But the music is good, the fighting is good, the characters are so good. I am loving it. I love it.
My problem is that Bleach was too much fighting, and it's not like the kind of fighting that I like.
Well, Soul Society also was really, really long, and we were watching the filler because I started watching Bleach before I knew about filler.
Mm-hmm.
So we were really bogged down. And then when I decided to not watch the filler and start watching it again, it was like wonderful. It's like then I realized that the filler is what is bringing me down
We've
because
been skipping the One Piece filler too, but we're gonna watch the Marine base one probably.
G8.
Yeah, but I don't know.
one
Fine.
with the dragon too, with the Millennial Dragon. We watched that. Brooks talked us into it.
I wanted to watch the G8 Marine base one because I had heard online that it's the only good filler arc, like the only one worth watching if you read the manga. But also, I realized it's right before Long Ring Long Land arc, and I think it would be terrible to watch all of Skypiea, which already drags a little bit, and then watch a filler arc and then watch Long Ring Long Land.
I genuinely think you should watch G8 and skip Long Ring Long Land.
It's
I
gonna
think
be
the G8
important.
The Marine one have Kobe in it.
No,
Oh, thank
it might
God.
have him for like a scene, but it's
I'm not a
Kobe
Kobe
arc.
fan.
You just think he's ugly, and when he comes back, he's not ugly anymore, or not as ugly.
I have a really important question. Christian, I know you have. Have you watched the One Piece live action trailer?
Yes.
Yes,
I feel like that's like something we have to talk about now that
I
you're
think it's
watching
gonna
One
be
Piece.
good.
I have high hopes.
They
I'm
are.
just saying, it's really confusing to me that Luffy doesn't sound like Luffy, and that makes me sad. I want him to sound like Luffy in the anime.
Yeah, I feel like he could have. Like, I feel like everybody else doesn't matter, but Luffy has a distinctive voice that the live action guy is not even trying to be close to.
He sounds like somebody from a children's like Sesame Street or something.
Are you watching dub or sub right now? Like
We are watching the dub because my 9-year-old is watching with us.
okay, yeah, Dub's voice is so funny.
But we have heard the sub voice when listening to various and assorted songs that Christian has sent us. The Tony Chopper song is my new favorite jam. I'm a doctor, Tony Chopper.
Such a funny song. I have really high hopes for the live action. I don't know why.
I like Buggy. You didn't like how Buggy looked. I like Buggy.
I got like jump scared by it. I don't know.
Well, I saw somebody online said that he looks like kind of scary. I like that because someone else online said that in like the first panel that it shows Buggy, like Oda originally intended Buggy to be like kind of scary, like killer clown villain, and then decided that he was going to be funny, goofy. And so I like that he's kind of scary because I think it's way funnier for him to be silly when he looks actually scary.
What was it I was reading the other day, Christian, that was talking about they were ranking like the hottest characters from One Piece, and it's like, is it going to be Zoro? Is it going to be Ace? And it was like, no, it's Hot Buggy with the ponytail.
And fell down Buggy. Which we haven't gotten to yet.
I can't imagine simping for a clown. I can't do it.
I like him in that arc. He's better in that arc than he has been.
I am excited for Zoro to have a top knot and a samurai outfit, though.
That is a long time.
I love people that have
Like
cool
800
outfits.
episodes.
Like, one of the things I love about Bleach is the dude that has, like, the big pink kimono with the cherry blossoms all over it. That's really cool. I want that.
The mentor guy?
He's the captain of squad. I don't remember what squad. His name is Shunsui.
Oh, yeah.
He's got such a cool kimono. I want it. And he's, like, so chill and laid back all the time.
This is something with, like, Bleach that I know, Christian, you said you didn't like the fights in Bleach, right?
Well, it's just that I felt like they were really long, and I only like really long fights when they're like super convoluted. Like JoJo is only fighting, but you like get their inner monologue, and it's like the most complicated fight ever. I feel like I probably didn't watch enough Bleach. I know the fights probably get better, but I feel like it was just like swordplay.
So now that I am learning Japanese, it's exciting to me that when I see them in their little court guard squad jackets, I can tell what squad they are now because I can read the numbers on the back. I'm on a 40-day streak in Duolingo.
That's huge.
I can
You
now,
should talk about when you were reading the thing under Bleach.
yeah, I can now also read hiragana and katakana, and only like maybe 15 to 20 kanji out of 10,000. So like, if I lived in Japan, I would be like a preschooler. Like, I have the abilities of a preschooler in Japanese. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, I can finally read all this stuff. Now I can read what it says under Bleach." It says Bleach. Surprise!
What are the odds? I feel like with Bleach, early on, it's just always sword fights.
Yeah, and I know they get like
Yeah.
cool, like different versions of their swords and stuff later.
Yeah, they have like their Bankai that they get, and then they also have like a second form release in Hueco Mundo. They get like their Resurrection. That's what the Arankars have, is the Resurrection. But then somehow Ichigo is able to do that too. And I
Yeah,
love
it
the
just
Vizards. Now the
Ichigo's
Vizards are in it.
whole thing is so goofy. I'm not gonna say what it is because once you get to the end of Bleach, it's like, wow, that's so complicated for why he can do this many things.
Oh, and I just a few episodes, well, I say a few, I watched like 3 a night, so probably like 20 episodes ago, got to the reveal of Ichigo's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, "What?
Did the Soul Reaper one?
You mean he's not a total idiot?"
my least
Oh my
favorite
goodness.
trope ever. Why can't we just have a good random person? It's always got to be. It starts out as, oh, this random guy has powers and he can fight all these people that are super strong. But then they always have to reveal, oh, that's because
Dad's a
this
soul
strong
reaper.
guy's great grandson. They did that in Jujutsu Kaisen.
They kind of
That's
did that
Soul
in
Reaper.
One Piece too.
Everybody does it, and I hate it. I want just a random guy to be cool for once, and not.
I'm not gonna like say a lot about Ichigo's backstory, but he's just that taken to the extreme.
If you want a guy that's just a random guy that ends up having a bunch of cool powers, that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
I will say my least favorite character they did that with. My second favorite character from Jujutsu Kaisen, Okatsu Yuta. The whole movie or the whole arc in Jujutsu Kaisen 0, he's just a random guy, and they're like, "Whoa, this is just a random guy." And at the end, they're just like, "Yeah, his granddad was really cool, like sorcerer," and they don't say anything else. Maybe they have, but I don't think they've really been expanding on his character recently, or they weren't when I was caught up.
That is such an overdone trope. Like when they have the reveal with something with Luffy. Oh god, that kind of ruined it. I ruined like a section of that really, really good arc for me. It just felt overdone. Because I think read Bleach recently after. And I'm like, you can't have any like cool main characters that are just cool because they're good.
I like
Like, it always
Luffy
has
because
to have
he
family
has
stuff.
the D. They still haven't said what the D really is. You already know from the beginning, or from like 100 episodes in, the people that have the D in their name are
Like Gold D Roger.
cool people. So at least it kind of. I'm fine with the main character being someone cool, but I don't want them to act like they're nobody and then reveal it.
Mm-hmm. I guess with One Piece too, you do just have the overwhelming like themes of inherited will.
Yeah.
Or like, okay, family needs to be important in a way.
Speaking of backstories and OP characters, I love that in Hueco Mundo we also get to see Urahara's backstory.
That was my favorite character when I was watching Bleach. I
We
like
call
it,
him
and I
Hat.
barely even
We
saw
call him
him.
Hat in sunglasses, and we love him. And he is so cool, and he's even cooler in the backstory. And I love the Vizards. When you first see the Vizards, you're like, are these bad guys? Are these good guys? We don't know. And now they're like my favorite characters.
So you got their backstory as well?
Yes.
I love the build up to all of the Aizen reveal stuff of how he
Yeah.
got to where he is today.
He is so awful. He's like the worst villain ever. Well,
the-
second worst. Like Yagami is the first worst. He's terrible.
Aizen's like the best villain ever.
Yes.
Like, even though I don't know if he has the best motivations, just him being such a smart character versus a like main character that's kind of just almost dumb in a way.
Yeah. He's
True.
like,
I like when they're
he
both
planned
really
it.
smart, like Death Note.
This was like the long game. Like he planned it out big time.
Mm-hmm.
We're at the part right now where the Vizards have just shown up and dude is facing off with Aizen for the first time since he got turned into a hollow.
Shinji, right?
Yes. He's like, guess who's here?
Shinji?
Not Neon Genesis, not Neon Genesis. A way cooler, less creepy Shinji.
Although his haircut is really unfortunate.
His I don't know if his whole Shikai Bankai stuff's been revealed yet, but it's so cool.
They have not. They have not revealed his yet.
And
they also haven't revealed Shunsui's yet because he was about to use it and his white-haired buddy jumped in and is like, no, we don't need anybody to see yours right now.
I cannot wait to hear what you think about Thousand Year Blood War, because reading it with all of the reveals was insane, and I've only heard that whoever's been working on it, but I think it might be Disney
What?
or something.
Somebody from Warner Bros. Is going to be animating Gear 5 Luffy.
Oh no, it's I think it's just TV Tokyo, but I know Disney has something to do with the publishing and like supporting it. Like it's on Disney Plus for some reason. I can only imagine how good the animation is with those reveals, because a lot of the Bankais look insane on paper. I can only imagine how good they look with the animation they have today.
Rukia's older brother is my favorite Bankai so far.
He has the sword one, right?
Yeah, where it's like it turns into like 1,000,000 pieces of sword.
Oh, it's so cool. He uses it again later. Just like he does have a really cool Bankai, I agree.
And I love that it starts out and he's so cold to her, and now he's like showing up in Hueco Mundo to rescue her. Like he really does love his sister.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things with like Bleach is that all of the villains of Soul Society are just like kind of allies for the rest of the series. Because they were just doing like one bad thing, but they're still better than all the other options.
And the one that you love during Soul Society, Aizen, that you're like so tragically upset about him dying, turns out to be the worst.
It's such a good version.
I already knew that he would, because I had watched power scaling videos. I don't know what he does, but in any power scaling video, they're going to drop his name and be like, oh, Aizen solos whoever.
He's insanely powerful.
I like telling people that like power scaling that Tony Chopper can beat everybody in their favorite anime.
That's true. I mean, he solos Attack on Titan.
I always use Attack on Titan because they're just people. Or well, there's some of them are Titans, but Chopper could beat him. At least Zoro for sure. Zoro could solo everybody in Attack on Titan.
Zoro took out 100 Baroque Works people just like in 5 minutes. So.
I think the only Straw Hat that cannot solo Attack on Titan is Nami.
With Zeus?
Okay, with that maybe, but that's new. But like Nami up to before Whole Cake Island arc.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Brooks and I are in agreement that Nami's the worst.
I agree she's the worst, but I don't think she's worse than Sakura from Naruto.
So,
I don't know how Usopp is more useful than Nami, but he
at least he can use a slingshot.
She has a climb attack.
that Usopp built.
Oh, that's true. I forgot.
Since you've started watching One Piece, you're past Alabasta, so you have that new crew member, Nico Robin.
Yes.
I do want to ask, since we brought it up with Nami, who is your favorite and least favorite Straw Hat?
I would probably say Zoro edges Chopper out just because OP comes before cute.
Chopper is my favorite, and Nami is my least favorite.
Nami is
Robin
my least
Robin
favorite.
might be, but I think Chopper's my favorite.
I'm gonna say something I think might make Christian a little upset with my least favorite, but I think my favorite. I think Luffy's just such a classic character, and a lot of what he does especially in his individual arcs, is just so cool to building his character, like with Marineford and Impel Down and all that. But by far, my least favorite character, maybe it's just because of where I am in the anime, is Sanji.
No, I love Sanji.
I love Sanji too. I love that he fights with his legs. And I like that he loves the girls without being overly pervy like all the other perv characters.
You're really gonna be upset with Fishman Island.
I will say this. You know how
Oh, yeah, I'm not there yet.
you were asking me why. I don't know. I still don't know why it happens, but you were talking about how guys always get nosebleeds when they see hot women.
Yes.
It is actually an important plot point, like a very important plot point that Sanji has to get a blood transfusion because he loses so much blood when he sees a hot mermaid.
I don't understand what the deal is with nosebleeds. I've never been to Japan, but I don't imagine that there you get a nosebleed when you see a hot chick. I don't know. I don't know how that started.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I can't believe that actually is incredibly relevant
It's a very important plot
in
point.
Fishman Island. That becomes like a defining build up to a far more important moment for some reason.
Fishman Island is probably. Never mind. I was gonna say it's probably my least favorite, like, big arc, but that's probably Skypiea. I don't hate Skypiea like everybody else does. It's just not that interesting.
I love that Brooks was like, that is the worst name for anything. The Death Pia.
Oh yeah. I don't even think they called that in the manga. I don't remember Death Pia.
My 9-year-old was like, this was lame.
Enel was like, I'm going to kill you all with my lightning. I'm gonna call it Death Pia.
What?
Let me Google it and see if I can find.
And then you're saying Enel, but we're watching it in English, so it's Inaru.
I watched it in dub. I don't remember that.
They only mentioned it, I think, in one episode, and it was
okay. Yeah, he called his ultimate technique Death Pia. It's when he makes the big black cloud, and all the lightning is gonna strike Skypiea.
Huh?
And he says Death Pia, and it's so stupid.
It's wild.
You're like, how are we scared of this man? And this is what he says.
Where we're at right now, they're currently fighting him. I think Luffy is like trying to
Luffy has a big golden ball attached to his arm and is trying to run up a beanstalk to get to the ship. That's where we are.
Yeah, with One Piece pacing, that can be like 1 of 4 episodes. So
I think we're in we watched like 2 episodes of that.
Luffy was in the snake for like 8 episodes.
That sounds about right.
I think in the anime right now they've been fighting Kaido for like 20 episodes.
I think it's like 40.
You think the NL fight is long?
Because the one fight that's happening at the same time as the Kaido fight is over.
Some of the Hunter x Hunter fights were like that, where you'd have like a 3-minute fight that was like 8 episodes long.
The Kaido fight is good because, at least I think this is how they're doing it. I read the manga, so I don't know. But similar to the big final fight in Hunter x Hunter, where it's a bunch of different fights taking place over an entire like palace, and so in one episode they'll show like a part of like 3 different fights, and so it's like 3 fights happening simultaneously, and it's going to be like 20 episodes so you get through all of them instead of having like 3 episodes for each fight. But there is a sequence in Hunter x Hunter where in universe it's 3 minutes long and it's like 4 episodes. And like they like slow time down to show you what's happening.
Isn't that what happens like Naruto with like 100 episodes happening in one night or something?
That's why Robbie didn't like it, and why he likes Black Clover is he says that Black Clover is like Naruto, but with like faster pacing. But I kind of liked the pacing because I felt like we really got the whole story. Like I'm so emotionally invested at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I still haven't watched Boruto yet. I watched 1 episode and it didn't grab me, so I haven't finished it.
I can't imagine it's that good with what I've heard from it. I was at work. I was working over the summer, and I heard coworkers complain for like 3 days in a row about how bad Boruto is.
I heard the fights are good, but the story is bad. There's like good animation and stuff.
People that I've talked to that do like it say you can't go into it expecting it to be like Naruto. Like, you have to take it as its own show, which is really hard when all the Naruto characters are in it, and that's the only reason I'm watching it is because I wanna see all of my favorite characters grown.
I heard Sasuke gets like or like high defs of Velociraptor, and I think that's all I needed to like hear about it. Like he fights like a singular Velociraptor for like 3 episodes.
That's weird.
I think that like single thing alone ruins all like One Piece versus Naruto power scaling that's ever happened.
They have dinosaurs in One Piece?
Yeah, and they get one shot in One Piece. They don't get like fought
That's
for
true.
3 episodes by like
Sanji
the
kicks
second
them and
strongest.
they're down.
I hate how they always like talk about like the sea kings and like the sea monsters like they're so big and like scary, and then Zoro and Sanji beat them up in like 2 hits.
I've just kind of interpreted that as there's like a wide variety of Sea Kings. Like, there are really
I'm
strong
sure
ones.
there will be an actual fight with one at one point.
I like that they make them cry all the time. Like, it's funny to me to see these sea creatures crying.
I think the thing with Sea Kings is like there's the one that Luffy like one shots coming off of the island he's from, but then there's also the Calm Belt Sea Kings. So there definitely has to be like a pretty wide range of them.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about characters like Zoro, since you've seen One Piece, is you know when they're like being trapped by Mr. 3 and they're getting covered in wax? And Nami's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "If I'm gonna become a wax statue, I want to at least be in a cool pose." And then when they're like almost completely covered, he's like, "See, I told you should have gotten a cool pose. You're gonna die in that stupid looking pose." I just love that he's so chill, like nothing ever bothers him.
I love how loyal Zoro is. Like
He was very loyal.
off the wrap, once he gets saved by Luffy, iconically loyal.
I will say that's not exactly what I don't like. What I don't like about the live action One Piece trailer is Luffy does not seem that dumb. He only spoke a couple times. Luffy doesn't seem as dumb as he should be. And Zoro and Nami were like arguing, and like I feel like there was never any animosity. They just kind of were chill from the beginning.
I feel like there was animosity between Nami and the rest of the crew, like pre-Arlong Park.
Yeah.
I feel like Luffy in the live action trailer sounds like he should host Blue's Clues.
I will say also, I'm not going to spoil anything since we haven't gotten to it yet. But I feel like I thought I remembered there being more, not animosity, but like more of a disconnect between Robin and everybody else before Robin's backstory in Enies Lobby and Water 7. But they're just like, she was like attacking and killing people in Alabasta, and like she has a good reason for it, but they didn't give it. and now they're just chilling with her and they're like being friendly.
Robbie had the same problem with Gara. He's like, we're just gonna overlook the fact that this guy killed a whole bunch of people.
That's true.
And
Robin didn't really like kill anybody because they had to magically say that everybody she killed was back alive somehow.
Gara
actually killed people.
Yeah,
he like is a murderer.
And I mean, he did have a tragic backstory, but like, yeah, Robbie does not like the fact that we're just cool with Gara. Just now Naruto has become his friend and everything's cool. But I love Gara, so.
It really is funny how like 500 episodes in, no one dies in One Piece. Probably like 2 canon deaths in One Piece before like a big event that happens. And one of those happens episode 5 when Lucky Roo from Shanks' crew shoots that random bandit.
That's one of my favorite scenes. I love that scene.
It's so iconic. I'm telling you, final war battle royale that's gonna happen. The East Blue villain's gonna come back. We're gonna see Arlong. We're gonna see Don Krieg, who we all know is super powerful.
Crocodile got put in jail. He wasn't dead.
Yeah.
Love
they
Crocodile.
Couldn't even kill Crocodile.
I mean, if you were going to kill one, Crocodile would be the one to kill.
The thing with Crocodile is I think Oda just, like, outward said, like, he's too cool of a villain to kill this early.
And, dude, the one thing that drives me crazy about One Piece is how I feel like when he's writing it, he's like, you know what? I really wish there was some way I could have somebody who has flowers growing out of their skin. I'll just make them eat the flower fruit.
No, he uses fruits to just explain away anything.
Whatever he wants.
My least favorite thing is the smooth fruit to make Alvida more attractive.
I mean, if anybody needed it, it was Homegirl.
Big Mom needs the. Big Mom is a villain that's like really big and scary looking.
I thought
like
you were calling Alvida that.
Big Mom is my favorite One Piece villain, and she needs the smooth fruit.
I literally thought you were talking about Alvida and being like, Big Mom needs that. And I'm like, yep, she did.
Hold on, I'm pulling up a picture of Big Mom.
Since you gotta pull up the Fishman Island snail.
And reveal. I'm not a body shamer. Alvida's size is not the problem. It's her voice and her face. Oh, wow.
She's my favorite villain from One Piece so far. She has a good story.
You've got to pull up the original reveal of Big Mom, where she's on the snail talking to Luffy.
Do you like her better than Buggy?
No, but Buggy doesn't count as a One Piece villain. Like, she's the main villain of a whole arc.
You say that, like, so when we watched Hunter x Hunter, before we watched it, Christian tried to tell us that Hisoka was not a villain. And I'm
he's an anti-hero.
He's a pedophile that is only protecting his boys so he can grow up and groom him and then kill him.
I feel like post-time skip stuff gets, like, before time skip, there's, like, arcs that are important, obviously, but it's focusing a lot more on, like, character development and them, like, getting new abilities. But then post-time skip, all of the arcs are, like, really important story stuff. And so, like, half the characters, like, there's too many Straw Hats for anyone to get actual character development. Like, most of the arcs, Frankie and Robin just, like, Frankie will do stuff because he has his, like, tank thing that he at least uses once a arc. But, like, Robin usually just kind of chills there. Brooke, I don't think Brooke has ever done anything.
Brooke's such a fun character, though.
He's
like,
really
he doesn't
fun,
need to do anything for me to.
He doesn't get used to
it.
So you talked about deaths in One Piece. I will say, I don't want to give any spoilers to anybody that hasn't watched it, but I am not to this part yet, but I saw a spoiler that one of the characters I really like dies, and I'm not happy about that.
I think 90% of people that watch One Piece after that happened got spoiled on it. Because I knew that too before.
Is it what I think it is, Christian?
I think so. The one is, like, the first actual person that dies.
I love
the only person that dies in One Piece.
I really like that character.
We might have talked about it on the first episode I was on. But, like, I know the title card for the episode before it is just, like, blank dies. The final stand and whatever.
They don't, like, keep any secrets. Like, a lot of animes are like that. The title of the episode will be, like, here's what's gonna happen. Get ready.
No, but, like, some animes will be, like, a sentence or, like, a part of a sentence. One Piece will be, like, 3 sentences long. Describe, like, every major event that happens next 4 episodes.
There was one, it was the episode where all that happened in the episode was Luffy fell off the ark and, like, Usopp and Sanji snuck up onto the ark. And it said, like, Luffy falls, Usopp and Sanji do whatever. And that was the episode title. And that's all that happened in the episode.
Which is good because when Robbie falls asleep while we're watching it, if he saw the title, then at least he'll know what happened.
That's the good thing about One Piece. I hate the pacing because there are whole episodes of stuff that I read in like 15 seconds when I was reading it. But I guess if you're going to miss a couple episodes, it doesn't matter that much.
Make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to follow Anime Fanjutsu on Instagram. We are at Anime Fanjutsu.